One of the brands that seems to be eating up a big chunk of Nike's running shoe market share is Salomon. And to me, I was surprised by that because Salomon, to me, someone that's more into the outdoors and less into running for fun, Salomon's more of an outdoor brand. And so I was like, oh wow, Salomon's like actually innovating and doing some new things. Some of these established brands are doing all this innovation that's separating themselves from the pack, trying to cut into that Nike and some of these other big brands' market share. That seems to be what Salomon's doing. And this is a pretty crazy looking shoe. It's got some weird technology and like some weird foams and stuff. So we're gonna run it through our tests and cut the shoe in half to really see if all that tech from Salomon is just BS to sell more products and put them above Nike even though they don't have any real substance, or is Salomon actually making a good running shoe that is forcing Nike out of the market? So then what are these shoes? Well, the brand is Salomon. The style is the S-Lab Spectur. They weigh 9.5 ounces. They retail for pretty expensive, $220. They're made in China. Salomon positions this product is the S-Lab Spectur brings race day exclusive to an inclusive package featuring innovative components and design that will work together to deliver the power of a carbon blade along with stability for those who need extra support. Dual density cushioning provides rebound for optimized fluid transitions. Get ready to break your PB, personal best. And if you want a pair of these, be sure to check them out via links in my description. So what is the tech that we're actually going to test that they're claiming? Because even in the description, they don't really go through anything about the shoe. On the website, it seems like they have 4 big techs. They've got the Energy Blade Carbon, the Energy Foam, Contra Grip, and R-Camber. I'll start going through those materials and start testing some of those claims, that marketing jargon, because Salomon, like Nike, has no description anywhere on their products. They're just assuming people know what it is, and it just blows me away that even like Salomon, actually it doesn't blow me away, because if you remember the Salomon hiking boot video did the exact same thing. There's just no information on what you're actually buying. And it drives me nuts just for making these videos, but also from a consumer perspective, because you're like, how do I justify buying a $220 shoe when I have no idea what this tech is? They don't explain what all the various layers are and what they do. So basically I have no idea what the upper is, so they don't really tell. And so we burned it to see at least if it's synthetic or more natural. It melted and smelled chemically, so it's a synthetic upper. It's about 0.6 millimeters thick, so really, really thin and breathable. We did the breathability test, and it is pretty breathable, except for these parts that have this TPU overlay. And the reason they do this on running shoes and other shoes is just gives it a little bit more wear protection, because that TPU layer over top has to wear through before you actually get to the material of the upper. It helps structure the upper to prevent it from overstretching, especially for a running shoe where you're going to tighten them down a little bit more. It does have that effect of making the breathability drop slightly. These are the 2 new camera straps I designed for Rose Anvil, the slim neck strap and the slim wrist strap. And the whole goal with this was to make as durable and resilient and rugged of a neck strap as possible, while still keeping it as minimal and light and discreet as possible, which is completely different, contradicting sides of things. But because we have a long history of making some of the best camera harnesses in the world and making some heavy duty belts, our hand sewn wallets, using the saddle stitching techniques, I wanted to infuse that into a really simple neck strap. And it was surprisingly hard, because the more details you add, the more clunky it gets, the more overdone it gets. And so what we ended up doing was just paring it down to a simple 1/2-inch strap, hand sewn on little details that hold on the solid brass clasp. And all you have to do to mount it is attach the little tri-ring and the little camera protector if you want. And the little clasp just slides on there and you're good to go. Obviously do the other side, but for the wrist strap, even simpler, because you just have that one side. All you do is clasp it on there, put your wrist through, and since it's like an automatic cinching design, you're good to go. Easy as that. And you can save $10 by using the code via link in my description for the next 24 hours or until it ends. So check out the slim camera straps below, and thanks to Rose Anvil for sponsoring this video. We did the puncture test just for fun, and it took 13.5 pounds, second lowest of all time. And like I said, it's just a running shoe, it doesn't matter. And that same concept pretty well transfers into the inside, because there's no lining through the forefoot. There's just this little bit of lining around the heel and around your ankle to give you a little bit of padding, a little foam behind this lining material. So pretty basic. And even if we pull the insole out, that's pretty basic too. Just a simple open cell foam. It doesn't have any special features to it. There's nothing really else to it than a fabric top open cell foam. Underneath, you've got traditional lasting material, nothing really special there. We did the ball drop test, it bounced up 11.8 inches. And so to me, it just seems like for all these running shoes, the actual interesting parts and the innovative parts of the shoe are from the insole down. Because if we start looking at the midsole, this is where we run into some of the potential BS tech that they put in this, like the energy foam and the energy blades. Because looking at the energy foam first, Salomon says it combines lightweightness and dynamicism. Dynamicism? It offers incredible energy return and unrivaled cushioning to keep your legs feeling fresh. So they say what it does. They don't tell you anything about the functionality, why it does that, and like like what the material is. So we're left to just kind of guess and gather information, try to run tests. But the weird thing about this midsole is it's clearly a dual density midsole, because this top foam feels completely different from this bottom foam. And this top foam it honestly kind of feels like one of those little packing peanuts. It's strange. It's really light, it feels really airy, it's really squishy, but it seems like it has a lot of rebound to it. And even when you're wearing them on foot, they're really, really squishy. They just like sink into the shoe. And we did the durometer test on it. It comes into a 10 Shore. So it's super, super soft. And this foam underneath, this harder foam that feels more like a traditional foam, is about 15 Shore. So you've got ridiculously soft foam all the way through. So why did they use the two types of different foams and two different densities for a running shoe? Let's ask Colin. He knows way more than me.
A manufacturer for running shoes or racing shoes like this might use two different types of foams for a few different reasons. One of the main reasons is the supercritical foams, the super, fast, racy, really bouncy foams are more expensive. So you put less of it in your shoe when you make up the rest with something else. So I think the top layer in this shoe is made out of a really nice premier, soft, reboundy racing foam like you'd find in all of the top high-end racing shoes. And then the bottom layer is just a standard compression molded EVA. Now, when you add those two layers together, you get the benefits of the durability and the cost of EVA while still having the premier racing foam on top and the underfoot feel. So it's manufacturing, it's cost, and it's also feeling and durability.
The other tech in this midsole is the energy blade. They say it's carbon, and as far as I can understand, oh my gosh, I just broke it. Whoops. Well, that's surprising. I didn't even realize that you're not supposed to bend these, because that just broke that plate straight in half. So I was about to say, like, the reason they put these in is energy return. It's like a mechanical springboard that pushes you forward. We've seen it in actually the hiking boots that we're doing right now. Same concept. The rigidity, as you compress it, it almost loads a spring so that when you do lift up, you're not just lifting all the weight of your leg and everything else. It's kind of springing you forward as you load that spring in each step. But that just broke in half. And they say it's carbon. They say full-length carbon plate, specifically adapted for runners that thrive off of optimized ground time and fluid transitions. So what's carbon about it? Let's just cut a little piece off and burn it and see if it is actually carbon fiber, or what is carbon about this, because that does not seem like that should be that hard to break if it's carbon fiber. So I don't see any carbon fibers in there, just from that little bit that I cut. There's no fibers in there. Let me burn this. Let's see if it melts. It does melt. Yeah, so it's not even carbon, and they didn't say outright that it's carbon fiber. Is there even any fibers in there? Maybe there's just like tiny little carbon fibers in there. I don't think there's any carbon fiber in that. Plus, if it was carbon fiber, you shouldn't be able to accidentally break it. Because what happens when you're actually running in these? If you hit really hard, is that just gonna fracture the whole shoe? And was it like $230 or $220? Can I break it again? Oh, yeah. Imagine that, you're running and it just pops, explodes underneath your foot. Well, let's get Colin's opinion on that, because as far as I'm concerned, that seems like a huge potential failure point and something I would not trust in my shoes.
Yeah, that's pretty insane that plate just snapped like that. I did look up on the website and it doesn't mention carbon fiber or carbon fiber weave at all. A woven carbon fiber is a lot more durable, obviously, because it's like a textile that resin is added to, and then that makes it rigid. Because it's a fabric, it's less likely to snap. What I think this is a carbon infused nylon plate. Manufacturers will do that just so that you hear and see that it says carbon on it, but really it's plastic with carbon dust mixed in, which can make it really brittle, as you can see. Definitely not the type of carbon plate you want in your shoe if you're going for a long time. And if you're a heavier person like myself, racing in a shoe like this, that snap is not confidence inspiring at all.
Then the other thing I have questions about, which seems really odd, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, it's just weird. This heel is split like a deer hoof. It's like, it still has the rubber on either side, but it's completely split down the middle. And I don't know what that's for. And they don't explain it, obviously, because they don't explain anything on these websites. And even the outsole has some good marketing, because you've got the Contra Grip and the R Camber. Once again, they don't explain it, but as far as I can tell, the rubber, the white rubber and the red rubber is all the same compound. They both come in at 60 Shore. They look like they're about the same thickness. And even here at the toe where the two pieces meet, it looks like it's one single piece of rubber, just two different colors. So I don't know what Contra Grip is. I have no idea. And as for the R Camber, I also don't know what that is. I wonder if the R Camber is like the actual rocker shape to it. And we did the bar drop test on these, bounced up 7 3/4 inches, which is in the top 20. So it clearly is responsive, even after you break the shoe in half. So let's cut them in half, see what's on the inside, and see if there's a reason why this carbon plate makes any sense and why it's so easy to break. soft foam. That's crazy. All right, we got them cut in half, and if you're not subscribed, consider just pushing that button. Consider checking out our handmade leather goods and the collaborations we do that make all this possible. So let's see what's inside. So here are all your relevant measurements with the different layers, the different stack heights, all those things that we're doing across the board for these. But now you can really see how different that foam is. You know, it's completely different texture, different color, different consistency. It bounces back in a different way. Like this bottom foam seems like more like memory foam where it slowly kind of goes back to its original shape, where this top foam is really, really responsive. It just immediately pops back. And you can see that that carbon, in quotations, plate does run the full length of the shoe, at least not until the heel, but I assume you don't need a carbon plate under the heel. But yeah, I think, oh no, this one's even broken too. So this one's broken as well. Are both sides broken? This is the only side of the shoe that doesn't have the carbon plate broken. And it's not that you're like gripping your running shoes and trying to break them. Oh. But you are running in them for hundreds and hundreds of miles. That surprised me, it's so easy to break. So then is all the running shoe tech in this Salomon all just BS, or is it functional? Well, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly, because I like the two different types of foam with the dual densities. It seems like it actually is function-based and solely for function because there's no reason aesthetically to do that. The carbon plate does seem to rebound. I don't think you're gonna break it just casually running, but I'd be concerned about it. It also has that split heel. It has the geometry of a more running shoe with like the more rocker style. And so to me, it seems intentionally built for running. All the main attributes and features in this are positioned towards running shoes. It is new and innovative, a lot more than what we saw in the Nike. And so to me, this Salomon is not a BS running shoe. This is a unique take. It's a unique way of doing things. They've gone out on a limb and tried some new stuff. And even though I was able to break it, I still think for the most part, this is at least innovating more and more exciting and different and actually like purpose built than the Nike that we just reviewed.